Young and wild and fabulous. Young and wild and fabulous. Ooh, oh, 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 ooh.
Hi guys, I'm Laura.
And I'm Fireese.
So during this quarantine, we've been trying to find things to do to occupy our time, and because we can't go traveling, we've been trying to find things to do within Ontario. And one of the things that we recently did,
I got my scuba certification.
I'm so excited because now I have a dive buddy. My husband doesn't swim, and so whenever we go on vacation, I'd always dive by myself, and now I have a partner to come with me. The problem though was during the time Fireese got her certification, all the pools were closed, so she couldn't actually do her pool training before doing the open water. So we had to find a place that was pool-like conditions in order to do it. And what is pool-like conditions?
So we did it in conditions where it was clear like a pool, where it was like the same amount of kind of depth as a pool, the same amount of stability, so no waves.
Yeah, exactly.
Pool-like conditions.
Pool-like conditions. Just what it sounds like. So the one place that we could do it is this place called Tobermory, which is the best diving in Canada, or lake diving. And the problem though was what?
The problem was it was freezing. I had a 7mm wetsuit, I had a 5mm vest and hood, I had gloves, I had socks, I had booties, the whole shebang.
I think the hardest part was the gloves.
Yeah. It's like squeezing a rubber ball in your hand. So there's just more resistance when you're squeezing. So whenever I tried to grab something, it was just harder. And like by the end, my forearm and my hands were like aching from the workout.
Yeah. So anyway, we thought what we would do is we would share with you what it's like to do your scuba certification training. So we did it over 3 days, or Fireese did it and I filmed over 3 days, but we've made 3 videos that we're going to share with you on basically what you go through when you get certified.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get started.
So essentially, to start off, she had to show me how to like build my like setup. It's like the thing that you wear on your back with like the tanks and stuff. That also includes your BCD, which helps you inflate and deflate so that you go up and down. I had to attach my like regulator and my like second stage and first stage. And how to put in all my weights and stuff. So usually this course is done over 4 days. And you just like build it and rebuild it a few times every day, but we did it over the course of 3 days. And so I just sat here and built it and rebuilt it 4 times.
Yeah. But you got to...
Or build it and took it apart, sorry.
Right. And so that's what you're doing there. It was really good because she showed you how to do it, and then you did it with a little bit of guidance the first time, and then you were a pro by the 4th time. Yeah. Mind you, I asked Fireese to build mine and she wouldn't.
Well, because you have to kind of refresh your team. You didn't even know how to do it.
The teacher we had was amazing. She was very supportive and patient and encouraging.
So here I believe it looks like we're working on regulator recovery. So that's when your regulator comes out of your mouth and you have to retrieve it and put it back in your mouth and clear it to make sure that you don't inhale water.
So the first thing that they did is go down and see, you can see it's crystal clear, it's beautiful. The thing that she always did is she showed you how to do it first.
Yeah, she would show me exactly how to do it, so she's showing me how to do it. Yeah, so just gonna take my regulator out of my mouth. Then you tilt to the side and you recover cover your regulator, put it in your mouth, and clear it. There. Ooh. So this is, I think, the first skill, if not one of the first skills that I learned.
Yeah, this is the first thing you did when you got in there. I guess it's an important skill to learn early on, that if your regulator comes out, how to get it.
Yeah. Oh, this is me clearing my mouth for the first time. I think this is a partial flood. So I basically just had to pinch the bottom of my mask to let a small amount of water in, which it wasn't as bad as I thought it would. It was definitely like the easiest of the mask clearing exercises, obviously, because I could still pretty much see the whole time.
Well, it's hard too because you're wearing a hood.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I did it, I wasn't wearing a hood in my cold water.
Yeah, and you can see I'm not wearing gloves here. This is the first time that I didn't wear gloves because we were just so hot. I was like, I can't, like I don't need gloves right now. But then later on, I put the gloves on and I keep them on for most of the training other than this. Because it was just so cold.
It was really cold. I think you have your gloves on now.
Yeah, I have my gloves
And
on.
the gloves are so thick that it's really hard
to like clench.
Yeah.
You can feel like you're holding a rubber ball and trying to like, so the fine motor skills were really difficult for me. Was this mask removal? Oh, this was full mask removal.
And you had to keep your mask off for 30 seconds. So she's saying don't hold on to your mask and try and put it on that way. Always put your thumb in the nose piece.
Mm-hmm. So you don't put it on upside down. It was hard because most of the time I would put it on, but it would get caught on the mask or in my hair. So I wouldn't be able to clear it properly.
On the hood, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, it was hard, yeah, because you had to make sure that you had a seal, and a lot of time you put it on and your hair would get in the way or the hood would get in the way, and doing it with gloves on is hard too.
I look like I'm in so much pain.
So now you have to do it for 30 seconds.
Yeah, I just had to breathe with it, with the regulator in my mouth.
I'm part of a scuba group on Facebook, and one of the women posted on there that what she has her students do is they just keep their face in the water for like 2 minutes, and once they get used to that, they do the mask clearing. Oh, there, you had to plug your nose.
Yeah.
I had to plug my nose immediately, so the fact that you don't have to do it is pretty...
Mm-hmm.
I would like to practice this skill more personally.
Yeah, it's a difficult skill. Definitely. I had to do it many a time.
You did. I had to do it once in my training, and you had to do it like
I had to do
times.
a partial clearing, full mask flood. I had to do a mask removal and wait 30 seconds, and then I had to do a mask removal and swim, and then I had to do a mask removal in my final open water.
I had to do it once.
It's crazy.
I know. It's good that you got... I want to practice more actually doing that. But see, you're having trouble clearing it here because of your hood and mask, and I think she even comments on that when you go up.
Yeah.
Perfect, and you did, even with trial and error, you managed to clear that mask. So good. Wow.
That was great.
Like the cold water doesn't even bother her.
And it's hard with the gloves on to do what you
Absolutely.
did. Like that made it so much harder.
But I mean, you just like, you stayed calm and you're like, I'm gonna figure this out, and you figured it out.
That was
You are a
crazy.
superstar. You
Good job,
did stay
Soga.
calm the whole time. This was interesting. I don't remember my instructor doing this with me. She shut off your air.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of good to know what it feels like. What did it feel like? Did it all of a sudden just stop? Like you're breathing?
It was very
breathing,
gradual. And then it was just like, eventually it was just I couldn't breathe in. And so I signaled out of air and she turned my valve on. But it was very gradual and you could feel the air getting like strained almost.
Huh? So like you would know something. It's not immediate. Like you
Yeah, it's not
almost
just
would
like
know
I'm-
something was wrong.
Yeah, it's not like I'm breathing regularly and then it's just like, oh.
And so this one you're doing the out of air with your buddy. So he just signaled he's out of air, and then you give him your regulator.
then we pretend that we were going up because we wanted to stay down for as long as possible.
And then you swapped. Then you were out of air.
And then I was out of air situation.
So you can see there's like a
kayak.
yeah. above. So now Fireese has to signal she's out of air.
And then pulls and gives me the. Can I drop it? Of course.
No, I think he thought you had it. I don't think you yet had it.
It felt different breathing through the secondary. You breathed through mine when we did the.
I didn't actually.
You
I
didn't?
No.
Oh.
Cause COVID. Because he breathed through it.
No,
so.
he didn't.
He didn't?
He pretended to.
Oh, I didn't know.
But yeah, it's an interesting feeling, definitely.
Is it harder?
Yeah, it's a more like labored kind of like, because it's not as like fancy.
Yeah.
As the other one.
Yeah. And then
It's definitely not something I would want to breathe in long term.
Right. Just to get you up to the surface. Oh, and then you have to go up, and then you have to breathe.
I have to orally inflate my BCD.
Which is hard, right?
It's really hard to orally inflate.
Okay, you ready?
So then we go back down. Oh, I think this one is the hover.
Oh, the hover is so hard.
It's really hard.
I don't like the hover.
No, it's definitely something that you want to practice more. Even me, I need to practice more.
Even at the end when we did our final dive, I had a lot of trouble with it.
Yeah, I think that's common. I think people have problems with neutral buoyancy.
There was people that, when we were there were people doing like a whole separate course just on buoyancy.
Oh, is it? Oh. Yeah, it's tricky. I know for me sometimes I'll add too much air to my.
I think that's what I did here.
Mm-hmm. And then you start going up.
Yeah, and you start going up and you're like, oh no.
Yeah. So you had to do the hover for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I kept like.
Your fin.
My fin
kept
touching the ground.
So she was saying like you can't flail, like you can't use your hands.
Move your arms. You have to stay like this.
So yeah, now you have to do it for 30 seconds. I think your fin touches at one point. Here you go. It's coming, and touch. And then she's like, no, your fin touched. Nah, you gotta start again.
Yeah, the hover was one of the only things that I had to try more than once. There are only a few things.
Yeah.
Oh no, oh.
It's hard. Like we almost need to just go one time and practice that.
Mm-hmm. And then I started getting too close to it.
I would go up.
And then I go too far and I was like, that was like what gave me the most like anxiety. Was going up. Oh, this was the wreck. In Tobermory, there's not really like coral or like any cool rocks. There's just a lot of wrecks and like really shallow too.
You can see the kayak again.
Mm-hmm. You really love your kayaks, don't you?
Well, you know what? I didn't notice them when I was filming. I'm only noticing them now. Anyway, so at the end of this training day, she just kind of took us on a little dive to check out the wreck. And
this one was really shallow. It was probably about 10 feet down.
Yeah. I mean, you can see the surface right there.
Yeah.
And then up you go, Fireese. Fireese had a bit of a trouble sort of staying down because you're so buoyant with all of the neoprene on.
Yeah.
And then, oh, there she goes right up to the surface. And you were really tired, right?
Yeah.
Like
I was exhausted.
I mean, doing all of the stuff that you have to do with not a flat bottom, like with all the rocks. And
the fins kept getting in the way, like it kept getting hooked under rocks and like.
Yeah. And then having to do the stuff with the gloves. It just made it really hard to maneuver things. And
I mean, I was so buoyant that We did a treading exercise where I had to tread for like 2 minutes. I literally could have just sat there and done nothing. I would have still floated. Like I was just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like just kind of casually treading. Like I was so buoyant. Without my BCD, I was up to the surface. Like,
yeah. But even so, I mean, I think that's a really hard, what's the word I'm looking for? Skill to master. That's what I'm looking for. It's a hard skill to master.
Yeah, the buoyancy is very difficult.
Yeah, and just, you know, all of a sudden you're kind of floating up and then you don't know to let out the air from your BCD and then you kind of shoot up to the surface.
Yeah, I was having a lot of trouble here letting the air out of my BCD.
Yeah, with the gloves on.
With the gloves on. And
yeah, it was hard because it was just that much more exhausting.
Yeah.
And we had actually got out and we were going to get back in to do one more skills, and we couldn't. As soon as we got out, we were done.
Nope, that's a no from me.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, I can't get back in. If you guys want to go, you go, but I just literally cannot get back in the water. And Fireese was just like, I can't.
So they're like, I can't do this.
Yeah, she was done. So we will share day 2 with you shortly. And we have day 2 and day 3. I think day 2 was I think this was the busiest day. I think we tried to cram in a lot on this day. So come back to see the second day. We will link the video to this one when it is published. All good?
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Bye for now.
Bye.